Duncan's got 'em stacked. Silver and black attack. Yeah, we're never looking back. Crowds on fire, feel the nation in the zone. Raiders rolling strong, bring it all the way home. He's got the glaze, got the grit, got the power in his stride. Duncan hits the sideline and the stadium ignites. Another chain moves and the fans all rise. Shields in the air, Vegas lights in our eyes. First downs and donuts, sweet like victory. Duncan keeps it cooking for the Raider family. One more drive, let the anthem ring. Raider Nation forever, let the Shield King sing. You all come back now, back now. Back now.
What is up, Raider Nation? The second piece of the 2026 Raiders puzzle seems to have arrived after the letter Mark Davis put out stating Tom Brady and John Spytek will be taking the helm of the football operations. We now have what seems to be our new head coach in Klint Kubiak. For some of us, this is a big sign for celebration and optimism for the future. For others, they're cautiously optimistic, waiting for the other shoe to fall. Also known as the day after the Super Bowl, February 9th. Maybe for some, this is the setup for just another joke to be had on the Raiders. As stated prior, Kubiak can't officially be the Raiders' 25th head coach in franchise history until he puts pen to paper on or after February 9th. I personally am cautiously optimistic Klint Kubiak will be our next head coach. If our time as Raider fans has taught us anything, nothing is guaranteed. Until Klint Kubiak is alongside John Spytek, Mark Davis, and Tom Brady announcing that Kubiak himself is the next head coach, we cannot believe it's a signed, sealed, and delivered deal. This may sound like a tale of negativity, but I am going to make it bittersweet, a bit sweeter, by saying what we have seen so far from our front office in this coaching search is very promising. And we should have some faith that they are doing things the right way. And this is the first time in a long while I feel like this is accurate. If the past 8 years have told us anything, the carousel has to come to a stop at some point. Coaches have left teams at the altar, and we have experienced that in 2004. So fingers crossed it gets done this time. As fans of the Raider Nation, we push, we pull, we shame, and we distort. But in all fairness, this is Raider Nation. So if you're with us and you believe in us, join us and show us your shield. I'm Donuts Duncan, and this is my partner, JD, Raiders First Downs. And today, we have a special guest joining us in his return.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Raider Nation, show me your shield.
welcome to the black hole. Tonight, a titan, a force to be reckoned with. Now introducing your special guest.
Dark Side! OB!
And here we are, the man himself, Darkside OB. How you doing?
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Doing great. I mean, some great signs so far about Klint Kubiak possibly being our head coach. What are your thoughts on Kubiak?
Be honest, I actually like the idea now. I know when we first started talking, I was against it, but the reason why I was against it was because I thought he was one of those nepo type coaches. But after doing, like I said, doing more research on him, that's totally not the case, because he's hopped around, and in order to hop around and still be put in positions to lead one side of the ball, you have to show some kind of some type of greatness, right? They just not like these head coaches. They want to put their name in the history books, and they're not just going to give a guy a job just because, right?
Yeah.
Outside of a Pete Carroll.
And not to put my partner Jason Downs in the back seat, I want to hear his opinion too, but our chat is popping already, so let's go ahead and hit them up real quick. We got Robert Pena in the house. I'm not bueno. Jason, your mic's muted. We got Jack, Rosetown native, and let's see, anybody else here? Got a bot in here. But
Yeah.
salute everyone, salute Raider Nation. Let's keep that chat going.
Salute
and we want to hear
Bueno
your
Pena.
opinions. Sorry, Jason, go ahead.
I was just giving my shout outs to Bueno Pena. You guys, thanks for coming in. Rosetown, thanks for coming in, brother.
Yeah.
And thanks for OB for joining us tonight.
Oh yeah. Anytime.
And chat, keep it going. We want to hear your opinions on what we're talking about too, and we will pop it up throughout the show and make sure you guys are recognized, because that's what the show is about. It's about Raider Nation. It's about that shield, and we want to see it loud and proud. So, getting to our talking points. First one is Clint Kubiak. By DNA, he is a Mike Shanahan disciple. His dad, Gary Kubiak, was longtime friends and assistant coach to Mike Shanahan. Obviously, with that comes West Coast offense, which seems to be the main staple of offenses in the NFL right now. You have any thoughts or like keynotes you want to talk about on the West Coast offense itself? Dark Side?
Oh, me? Nah, it's a successful scheme. It's been around, like you said, since what, the late 80s, 90s or whatever, whenever it was, early 90s. So it's been around for a while, and I don't think it's going nowhere. So, and I feel like Clint has taken it. Clint, Kyle, Sean McVay, they've taken it and they've like added their own little spice to it. Because again, I went back and I ain't gonna say I watched every single play from this Seahawks season, but I watched most of the games, and the man can call some plays.
Yeah.
The man is very creative.
He keeps a rhythm to himself, doesn't he? It's
Yeah.
like there's a method to the madness in which the sequence he calls plays.
Yeah.
And another one thing that I do like is he doesn't go away from the run. He doesn't get away from the run game. Like he sticks with it regardless.
Yeah. No, I know that's a big talking point on the stat people from ESPN and stuff, is they really try to knock on Clint Kubiak because he tries to force running the ball at times. And I think it's kind of a good thing that he does not give up on the run, even when it's not successful, because it forces defense to honor it. And we've seen that the past 2 seasons, we just slowly get away from running the ball as the game goes on, and then we become one-dimensional and we continue to not score points. Now, getting back to Jason, what are your thoughts on Clint Kubiak? Are you excited about it? The news coming out on him, excited about him possibly being that head coach of ours?
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. Number one, they targeted the guy. Right? They had a target. They had a specific target. They had a game plan. They executed the plan. You know, they went full bore. They knew who they wanted. They went after him. And at this point, it seems like we got our guy. The only pessimistic part of it is it's just like when, if any of you guys have ever bought a house before, you go into escrow, you sign you found the house. That's the house I want. I'm going to buy that house. I qualify for it. Now we go into escrow. You got to wait so many days before we finalize the deal, before you get the keys to that house. So right now we're in escrow with our coach. And OB is a real estate guy. Did I miss anything?
Nah, you're right. You're spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So-
You spot on. Right now, we just the. I don't think he's gonna pull what's his name? Josh McDaniels on us because
Or Sean
it's too many
Payton.
people. Or Sean Payton. It's too many people in the Seahawks organization that's already preparing for his departure. So I don't think he's.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna go back to the Seahawks. I think he's already committed.
I mean, the GM of the Seahawks just flat out said that he's going to be a Raider next year
Right.
on it yesterday.
Nah.
So that's why in the monologue I said, unless this is some sort of ugly setup to a cruel joke for us, like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, it happening, does Kubiak change your perspective on how the Raiders attack free agency?
Thanks, Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I ain't gonna say I think so because I didn't have any expectations going into free agency because I didn't know who the head coach was going to be, so I didn't have any expectations from jump. But it does give you a light on what to expect on the offensive side. Kind of.
Yeah. So it'd be more safe to say it now creates that perspective for you.
There you go.
Because
Yeah.
we didn't know what we were looking at. We were just looking at
Right.
what great players
Yeah.
do we want on our team. But now
Exactly.
we can kind of focus that light on specific players that may not be the greatest, but will thrive in his system.
Yeah, you can narrow it down.
Yeah. Does it change your thoughts on free agency at all, Jason?
Actually, it doesn't change my thoughts on free agency because at the core of it, I know Kubiak's big on addressing the offensive line. That's one of the things that they did in Seattle last year when he came in is, they drafted that guard right at the top of the draft. They built it up. Not only that, he added the coaching staff for the offense. That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about what kind of coaching staff we're going to get to coach the offensive line.
Yeah.
Right?
too.
So that's got me excited in and of itself, just that right there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw a little spin in it because Kubiak has a knack for refining veteran quarterbacks and their skill sets, and then also nurturing the younger ones along with it. That's where his experience in San Francisco, when he was a quarterbacking coach in San Francisco, that's where he met Sam Darnold, right?
Mhm.
So Sam Darnold was a backup quarterback, and we know that the quarterback coach and the backup quarterback spent a lot of time together, right?
Mhm.
They spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from. So I think in free agency, it might not so much be from a free agent standpoint, but don't be surprised if he convinces Spytech to go out and maybe make a trade for a veteran quarterback that is a backup, or
I don't disagree.
he might keep Geno. We don't want him to keep
I
Geno,
don't
but he
disagree
might.
with that either.
But he also, I think I trust Kubiak with Geno more than I trust Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly with Geno because we already saw that, right? But I trust Kubiak because Kubiak isn't going to wait till week 15 to pull Geno Smith out the field.
Yeah, and we're going to get more into that real quick. I'm going to acknowledge some of the chat here. We got Joe Hardtaco, Raiders against the world. Absolutely. Always is, always will be. The NFL hates the Raiders, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Rosetown native, O-line has been the priority and will be 100%. Yes, absolutely has to be. I mean, bare minimum, we need to find two very good starters, whether that be free agency or the draft or both. I argue get two from each, but that's personal opinion. Robert Pena showing the love for Darkseid. Everyone, go check out his channel. Go subscribe.
Appreciate
hit the
you,
like button on his last video. And I do recommend, when you have the time, go check out all of his videos. They're very good, very thoughtful, and he loves the comments. The comments help feed what his next video is going to be. He gets ideas from his comments. So go ahead and do that. Robert Pena, yep, showing love. And 401 Raider Jeff, Geno 2026. Honestly, it's
I wouldn't be
not out
surprised.
of the realm of possibilities. Kubiak himself, I believe, stated he went to Seattle for Geno, and then they traded
Yep.
him away. So
He did.
there is a possibility in that. Jeff's laughing. I know it's crazy because us Raider fans want Geno on the first flight out of Vegas yesterday.
I think
so-
Geno wants the first flight out of Vegas.
Yeah. I am optimistic Geno will be on a flight to Minnesota where he could be the Vikings quarterback next year. Hopeful,
Over
thinking
JJ
thinking,
McCarthy.
but
Yeah,
I would
I
say
was
there
thinking.
is
I was thinking either Minnesota or Atlanta.
yeah,
Either
Atlanta
or.
maybe to back up Penix because Penix kind of a health risk right now.
I don't think Penix is going to be ready for the season.
Yeah,
at the
he
start
tore,
of the season.
yeah, he tore his ACL.
Yeah,
Again for the third time.
But talking about players moving around on our roster, obviously we're going to have to make additions. Are you guys comfortable with Kubiak bringing in his own guys from Seattle that he has, or other guys that he's coached with or coached to come being a veteran presence in the roster or coaching staff?
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I actually welcome it. Obviously, in both New Orleans and in Seattle, I'm not going to look far back as when he was the OC for the Vikings, because I look at the last 3 years. What have you done in the last 3 years? And the Vikings was 2021, so I'm not even going to pay that no attention. But New Orleans and Seattle, he was very, I ain't gonna say very successful in New Orleans. He was semi-successful in the first few games, until Rashid Shaheed got hurt, Chris Olave got hurt, Derek Carr got hurt, Taysom Hill was hurt, the backup running back got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just kept getting hurt. So
Yeah.
I think they would have been okay if they would have been healthy. And obviously, in Seattle, everything worked out for the best. So yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind at all.
Now, Jason, out of the guys currently in Seattle, I know we need receivers. There are 2 free agent receivers after the Super Bowl, in Shaheed and in Cooper Kupp. Would you be interested in bringing either one of those guys or both of them over to the Raiders?
Shaheed's intriguing because he's a weapon in the kick return and the punt return. That's the most intriguing part of that aspect. But also look for maybe somebody from New Orleans that he might target, that's currently still there. And don't be afraid for Juwan Jennings either. If Juwan Jennings hits the free agent market,
Oh, we're talking free agents.
that could be he could possibly be a cap casualty.
What is it, Bree?
The other possibility that Kubiak does have some experience with is Brandon Ayuk.
That I don't want.
Personally, I don't either. But he is a talented receiver. But my thing is, with players that basically take a whole season off, they're never the same after that.
Mm-mm.
I personally don't want to take a chance on him because 1, his attitude, and 2, he took that whole season off. So
We're done taking other people's headaches, Duncan.
yeah,
done.
well,
We're
I
done with
mean,
that.
I think most of Raider Nation always has been.
Well,
It's
ever
just,
since Antonio Brown, and we gave it another shot last year with Amari Cooper. That's it. We're done with that shit. We're done with that.
yeah, I'm just putting names out there. It's a possibility. Money Chuck coming in. Greetings, gentlemen. I watched an interesting film breakdown on Kubiak's offense today from Sanjit. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Sanjit does some legit film breakdown. That is the area I would always suggest to watch Sanjit is his film breakdown. He does a very good job in those. I don't remember his YouTube channel, but I would recommend going and checking out that video Money Chuck is talking about. If Money Chuck wants to post it, we can shout it out.
It's a guy that I think he would possibly bring over from Seattle is Derek Young. He's the wide receiver, 6'3", big guy. He plays special teams, run blocks. So just a name to throw out there.
Yeah,
He'd be a good replacement for Thornton.
Well, tell you this, Thornton's on one hot seat. He better really show up and show out in this offseason once everything gets ironed out, because he cannot perform like he did in the games last season.
Yeah.
No. He
Good take, Money Chuck. Good take, Money Chuck. Like that one.
Yeah. 401 Raider Jeff Walker is a free agent. He is
restricted.
Yep. And that'd be one heck of a combo, Genty and Walker. And
I would actually take a gamble at covering his restricted free agency offer. I'd be willing to push a little bit, few more chips on the table, where Seattle goes, we're not matching that.
Yeah. What was your question, Darkside?
What's the max is a 3rd round pick, right? Or a 4th round pick? You can put on
3rd round is the highest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. I don't know about that.
You know what?
I can get a running back in the draft. If I got to pay a 3rd round pick, I'll just get one in the draft.
Yeah. I mean, there's some interesting names that aren't really big that will be there in the 3rd day of the draft.
Yeah.
Rosetown native. I'll take Al-Jair, number 2 hard hitter. Yeah. Al-Jair is also a restricted free agent also, though. Because he's coming off his rookie deal. Official Miles McKay, Love. Yep, and free agency, yeah. Okay. With Kubiak, I mean, he pretty much brought in his own staff on the offensive side of the ball for the Seahawks this last offseason. What are some key names that we should be looking at that may make the transition over to the Raiders?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
What are some key coaching names we should be looking at on the Seahawks roster, coaching staff, that we should bring over to the Raiders?
Most definitely the offensive line coach, Benton. He has to be priority number 1. For him, I would even make him the offensive coordinator just to guarantee we get him. Because Kubiak's going to be calling the plays, so we don't have to worry about him calling plays. And putting him as offensive coordinator, as a line coach, like, it's going to make it hard for teams to really want to try to take him from us. Yeah.
The only thing we'd have to do with him is, at minimum, because of the lateral, they could block the lateral, is we just add assistant head coach to his title.
That we could do because he is a positional coach.
But Justin Otten is the assistant offensive line coach and run game coordinator currently in Seattle, and I wouldn't mind getting him. He's young and hungry, full of piss and vinegar too.
Well, so we could definitely make a run at bringing them both over. Make Otten the O-line coach, and then make the other gentleman the offensive coordinator.
Otten's easier because all we have to do is elevate him to offensive line coach. And it's not a lateral move.
I would still just bring Benton over and make him the offense coordinator because
33 years of experience.
Hopefully, we're good enough that they want to, like, other teams want to snatch him up and make him the head coach, and then you just have his replacement already, the offensive line coach. You just promote him. So or however you want to do it.
Rosetown suggesting Janako, the quarterback coach. I mean, that'd be awesome. Somebody who Kubiak is already comfortable with the quarterbacks. That being said, I believe Janako might actually be in the running to become the Seahawks offensive coordinator.
I think he is. Yeah.
So that one may be impossible for us, but it's not actually impossible, but more very unlikely.
Because he
don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to hear Josh McCown's name come up in the hiring process either.
McCown's interesting too, but McCown also we would have to make him the offensive coordinator because he's currently a quarterback's coach.
He's ready to move to coordinator.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of interesting names on the offensive side, and we're probably going to mostly talk about offense in the near future because that's what Kubiak is an offensive guy. Before we switch over to the defensive side, let's hit up the comments again real quick. Got Evil Redbird coming in saying, "Hi guys, what is up?" Evil Redbird, salute. Saying, "I don't know what it is about you guys. Look like you got swag." Oh, that's all Darkseid. He brings it all.
That's you with the beard, man.
Darkseid's the muscle, man. Rosetown native Janako follows Kubiak, is what he was saying. I mean, it is possible, but I don't know, man. Sometimes guys finally put their foot in the ground and go and do what's best for their career, which I think is him becoming the Seahawks offensive coordinator if it's offered to him.
Yeah.
Now on the defensive side, obviously Kubiak doesn't bring over a staff to the Seahawks for the defense. So what are some names that we can throw out there that might be interesting for the Raiders? Mainly for defensive coordinator right now.
From the Seahawks.
Seahawks or anybody related to Kubiak.
I know we're probably out. I know we're going to say the same names in regards to Carl Scott, but I did a lot of research on Carl Scott. He has an hour-long video from Alabama talking about match quarters, and when I tell you this man can teach defense, it is if you're a fan of defense, you should go. I should try to find it and let y'all link it to this chat, but he's explaining Meg, he's explaining what a pony is, he's explaining when box coverage, he's explaining everything, right? When you're doing 3x2, and he's a very, very, very detail oriented guy, and that's what you want in your defense. You want somebody that's gonna harp on the fundamentals. You want somebody that's gonna be very, very detailed in how you step your first 3 steps. Are you gonna shuffle here? Are you gonna do a basketball shuffle, or are you gonna actually backpedal? And that's what he's talking about in that breakdown. Again, this is in his Alabama days, so obviously he's learned a lot from the best DB coach ever in Nick Saban. So now he has that Nick Saban background, as well as being with Mike McDonald for the last 4 or 5 years. So that's my number one guy, Carl Scott.
No, that's some great input. And guys, that's the kind of input you get on Darkseid's channel. So once again, go check out his YouTube, Darkseid OB. Jason, who is the big name right now for a defensive coordinator?
Well, a lot of people are going to throw that Jim Schwartz name in there, and I wouldn't bank on that right now. I really wouldn't. There's too many variables behind that. Number one, and number two, I think if it comes down to Kubiak's decision specifically on the coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball, he's going to want to go more on people that he's been in the room with and been in the building with. So I would pause on that, on the Jim Schwartz. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have Jim Schwartz. I think he'd be great for our organization and great for our defense. But I just posted the link to that video in a chat. If anybody wants to take a clip of it and run with it, it is a killer video that covers 7 and the variations and what's your responsibilities and how to transfer your responsibilities. If you want an in-depth look at what a secondary coach and how his expectation, it's perfect. And from a totality, he would be perfect as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I'll bang the table for it. He's got 10 years. He's 10 years in the NFL with NFL experience, coaching experience. Plus, he's got some Alabama teachings in him as well. You blend all that together, man. You're looking for a rock star. It's kind of funny that nobody else has tried to pluck him from Seattle, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, so So yeah, that's one name. The Jim Schwartz thing is going to come up. But Kubiak has a Rolodex of defensive guys he can lean on.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about. And then if there's something that he doesn't trust, he actually trusts Spytech to help him out with that. It'll still be a Kubiak decision. Don't get me wrong, but I think he can always go, hey, is there a way we can get this guy? I don't, what do you know about him? And then Spytech might have more insight on that guy. So it's a collaborative type thing. That's where GMs and head coaches, where that harmonious relationship comes in, is situations like that, where where one might have a question versus another, and they can sit down and discuss it and roll with the best options for what helps the team the best.
Yeah. Now, obviously, free agency is going to be a huge deal for us because we have so many holes to fill. What is more important, the filling of the coaching staff or bringing in some talent on the free agency market?
You can go ahead and answer that one first, Jason.
I think the coaching staff is the most important right now. And it's right now. I mean, we're going to do that before we get to free agency anyway. So,
yeah.
But it's also going to create that path of what we're going to do in free agency.
Hopefully.
So, I mean, we just went up to $130 million we're going to have in cap space. So we got some money to spend. And if we do it right, I think we can actually make this team better than expected, but not quite what we want yet.
Yeah, I agree. Coaching definitely matters, but you also gotta have players. You don't have quality players, it don't matter who the coach is. Nick Saban can't coach the Citadel, whatever, to the national championship. You still gotta have quality players, quality athletes.
Yeah, today's NFL seems to be more of you need a mix of both. I know the Raiders of old, Al Davis would always say, first you got to hire great coaches, then you bring in great players. Yeah. But today's NFL, it seems like the players have a lot more of a voice and a control of the locker room than the coaches did of the past. So it's tough. You got to find that nice balance.
Which is a good thing. I was again, I don't know if I said this last time. I was in the Army. So when I was in the Army, our captain and master sergeants and what I'm saying, all of them, they didn't tell us what to do all the time. We controlled ourselves. The privates and the sergeants, we all policed ourselves, as the Army saying goes. We policed ourselves. And then if they had to get involved, then it was too much for us to handle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we controlled ourselves.
Now, I'm not ex-military or anything, but they did instill a system in you to where they can hand off the keys to you.
100%.
So I think that's more of where the coaching comes in, is they got to instill that system in the players so the players can take over and do their thing. So it's still hand in hand. Like, they're not just blindly bringing you in and just letting you run rampant.
No, yeah, you're right.
Now, that being said, us Raider fans, we've been going through a crap ton of turmoil, just turnover, coaches left and right. That being said, Kubiak being a younger guy, offensive guy, a lot of Raider Nation really wanted him, and we're excited that he seemed to be the target. How soon should we be trying to expect results, or should we even be trying to expect results? Should we just give first season a pass and then start expecting to see stuff in the second season? Like, what should we be trying to look at? Like, what are some goals?
I would say you want to. I set my goals high, so I say within the next 3 years we should at least be competing for the AFC Championship. That's just my opinion. You got a rookie quarterback, right? You got a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal. He's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, this the next great best thing, right? You got a young offensive minded head coach, which everybody wanted, everybody's hyped for, right? And if he's supposed to be what he's supposed to be, right, then he's gonna, you know what I'm saying, prove everybody wrong or everybody right, however you want to look at it. You got a great tight end in Brock Bowers, you got Ashton Genty, like all of those guys, you got the pieces, right? So you're just missing the coach and the quarterback. So I think within the next 3 years, we should at least be in the AFC Championship.
Okay. So bare minimum playoffs pushing for that championship.
100%.
In 3 years. Jason, do you have any like goals, standards, expectations that you want to see, and how soon?
I do have goals and expectations, but you also want to see the process. You want to be able to articulate, is the plan being carried out? And from my standpoint, I would like to see something in that middle of October to November range of this year that shows us that we're going in that direction of where we're going to be and how we're going to be as a team. Because that's usually about the time, your injury attrition starts to kick in. Your rookies are starting to get up to pace, and your second and third year vets that you have should be reaching their top performance, being their top performance level that they should be at. But keep in mind, this isn't microwave food. This is a slow process. So it's not, don't expect by week 2 or week 3 that we should be yelling fire Kubiak we did
Absolutely.
the last 3 years. We there comes a point in time where Raider Nation needs to take their bottom lip, pull it over their top lip, and just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. 100%. I was trying to preach that, but it just seemed like every time I tried to say we need to let Pete Carroll have time, he would next day do something. It's just like, why are you still here? He made it impossible to defend.
He backed himself in a corner with nepotism. With Gino and his sons, he backed himself into that corner, and he couldn't get out of it.
Yesterday, I was listening to JT the Brick, and he said something that caught my ear that I found interesting. And he said he wants a coach that can run the plays that they instill in the offseason. They have all these offseason programs where they're instilling their offense and their plays, and they beat up on the defense, and like they actually look good. And then you don't see those plays at all during the season. So that being said,
so what practice that week?
Short-term goals. I want to see that system. Like they're instilling their system in the offseason. I want them to see them have their go-to plays, what they can feel comfortable running in the offense. We may not be successful this next season,
right?
But instilling some sort of system that we can go to and find some sort of success during a game, not necessarily success in the win, but something that we can build off. That would be nice for the short term.
Yeah, build that foundation.
Yeah, and Darkside, you mentioned Mendoza. I mean, it might be safe to say he's going to be our first overall pick. That being said, it's more than Mendoza that we got to draft. And this past weekend, there was the Senior Bowl, right?
Correct.
What were your overall thoughts about the Senior Bowl and its process and the practices and the game itself?
Well, it was a different Senior Bowl. The first, it was ran by a new, not owner, but a new GM, I guess. So it felt different, right? It felt different watching it because the layout, the scheduling, everything, the timing, everything was different. And I don't think the players, as far as like the skill position, good night, baby. The skill position group didn't live up to my expectation, like in years past. The DBs wasn't as good as I thought. There was a couple guys out there. The wide receiver group wasn't as good as I thought. But the O-line and D-line, they was actually pretty good. The quarterback group wasn't good. It could just be because the quarterback's not good. I thought Taylor Green was going to have a better day than he did, and Diego Pavia. But I liked a couple guys. Matt's what's his name? Ian Aker, the guy from Arizona State. He was a brick wall. He's a steady right tackle. There's a kid out of Auburn, Jeremiah Wright. I liked him. There's another guard that I liked, Jennings Dunker, Bo Stevens. Like, there's a lot of offensive linemen that were good out there. There's a lot of defensive linemen. Zane Durant, you had Derek Moore, you had my guy from Florida State, Darnell Jackson. He was in the Shrine Bowl, and he ended up coming to the Senior Bowl because he did so good in the Shrine Bowl. And he's huge. He has like the biggest wingspan in like the last 3 years. And he's like 6'6", 335 pounds, right? With 11-inch hands and 35-inch arms. So he's a specimen. Yeah, it's a few. Oh, and the linebacker group. I'm sorry if I'm getting long-winded, but the linebacker group,
Jake
group
Rodriguez.
Crazy, man. You got Jacob Rodriguez, you got Kyle Lewis, you got Bo Bichette. I'm thinking about football. I mean baseball. Bryce Betcher out of Oregon. Keelan Elam's Orr out of TCU. He had a pretty good day too. But yeah, it's some solid names.
Yeah. So now I'm going to ask both of you, what was a standout player on the offensive side and defensive side for each of you?
I'll let you go.
The only offensive side throughout the week was Malachi Fields from Notre Dame. He really showed what his catch rate is and his route discipline. And he had all his reps were consistent throughout the week. I didn't see any drop off. So I'm going to say Malachi Fields is my winner as far as the guy that performed the best on offense for either team. Defensively was I liked what I saw. Oh, hold on, let me go back because I only caught part of Wednesday's practice and then into the game, but I was really impressed with Jennings Dunker from Iowa and the kid from Arizona State. I'm not even going to try and say his last name because I'll bite my tongue trying to do it. But that kid, he showed me something. It was like he's going to be a good pro for a long time on that right side as a tackle. I wouldn't be surprised to see his draft stock climb significantly just off the Senior Bowl. And then you throw in what he'll do at the Combine because he's kind of a dancing bear in a roundabout way. You watch his feet, man. And he came out. He was a basketball player.
Yeah.
That later on transferred over to the football side of things. So he's an interesting guy. Again, Jake Rodriguez. He just kind of solidified everything that I thought about him. I think the biggest knock on him is he played behind three really good defensive linemen in college, so they kind of stole some of his thunder, so to speak. But he's one of those guys that I think is going to be a really good pro. And hey, maybe we can trade back a little bit in the second round, get some extra picks, and get him in the second round too.
For me, I'm gonna be greedy, and I'm gonna give you two on offense and two on defense.
Okay.
Mike Washington, the running back out of Arkansas, he was really good. He's a big guy, 6'2", like 225, solid.
He's a bruiser.
Yeah. And then at receiver, I'm gonna say Barry Brown. He reminds me of Ted Ginn Jr. Now, not NFL Ted Ginn, college Ted Ginn.
Okay.
NFL Ted Ginn was trash, but he's a better runner. Yeah, he had moments, but him with the Carolina Panthers was awful. But so yeah, that's my two offensive guys. Defense, I'm gonna try not to say the same guys that Down said, but Bud Clark out of TCU, safety. I feel like he can play safety and drop down and play nickel too. And then I'll say my guy from Auburn. I got his name written down. I'm sorry. Kieran Crawford out of Auburn. Yeah. He showed some stuff.
Now I know we gotta get you out of here pretty soon because you had some promises for your wife.
She reading the book. I'm good.
Okay.
he,
That's why I keep
he
looking
could just
over my
look
shoulder.
over his he could just look
Yeah.
over his shoulder and say, "Oh, gotta go."
Yeah. Now, this next question, it could be positive or negative, but who is your biggest surprise player? Jason,
Should I
you
go
want to
first? The edge rusher Morris from Michigan.
Okay.
He was another one. Even from the practice field of the game, it was just. I'm not going to say it was like all pro outstanding, but there were some times that you went, yeah, he could be what we thought Malcolm Kuntz was going to be.
He's bigger though.
He is
Bigger
bigger than
than-
Malcolm Kuntz, but I'm talking from a complementary piece to Max Crosby on the
Okay.
opposite side that could be one trustworthy and two really affect the pocket on and be consistent in affecting the pocket.
Well, I'm gonna challenge you here and go with the same position and say Zion Young. He had a great Senior Bowl.
And
Great.
Duncan knows I love that kid too, and I totally
Well,
Listen, he
Darkside and I
stood out.
both did not like him because he had oh geez, now I'm spacing on his name. Our current defensive end should be
Tyree
playing
Wilson.
Yeah.
Tyree Wilson ish.
He had Tyree Wilson written all over him. Slow get off, slow feet, just tried to use his size to bully people and could sometimes, but not all the time.
He bullied Caden Proctor in the Alabama game. He bullied him real good.
Yeah, but Darkside can attest to this. We don't think Proctor's that good.
I don't either.
But that being said, I'll let Darkside get back to it. But Zion Young,
Man, he disrupted that whole game. Anytime he was on, because I think they switch every series, right? So once the defense come off the field, they put a whole new group in. But every time he was on the field, you noticed him, right? You seen that Missouri helmet in the backfield, making plays in the pass game and in the run game, right? He was bullying the right tackle, the left tackle just about every time. And whenever he tried to pull, whenever a guard tried to pull and block him, he was bullying him. He was winning on bull rush, speed moves. He really shocked me. He shocked me. I was impressed.
So, biggest letdown or disappointment? Like, what player did you have somewhat high expectations on and they just fell flat?
Taylor Green, quarterback out of Arkansas. I thought he was gonna raise his stock a lot, and he didn't do it. He didn't show me anything. But it was very windy on the game day. It was very windy. But if you're 6'6", 225, 230 pounds, you should be able to throw the ball through the wind. And he wasn't showing me nothing. I thought he was gonna be a better version of Terrell Pryor, and he didn't show me that. He let me down.
Now, quick question on Taylor Green. With throwing in the wind, was it he was just missing constantly, or like he had power behind his throw and just was not hitting a barn?
No.
Or was it didn't even have the power in it?
Right. Both. Yeah. Not missing as in inaccurate. The ball was taken off. Like he was throwing it and it just he was trying to throw here and the ball just go like this.
Yeah, it can't be having that with such a big body quarterback.
All right. Yeah.
That has noodle arm written all over it.
Yeah.
Did you
You
have
would
any...
expect that from a Diego Pavia, but not a Taylor Green.
Yeah. Jason, did you have any letdown players?
Believe it or not, I was disappointed in Garrett Nussmeier.
He won.
Even though he played one of the best, I still, I expected a little bit more out of him because his year this year at LSU wasn't that good. I think a lot of that has to do with, I think his abdominal injury that he had was more severe than what it was played out to. That on top of the fact that Brian Kelly, I think, is a horrible coach. I don't like him. But I was expecting more out of him in the Senior Bowl, especially when he's got New Orleans Saints coaches coaching him.
Right.
And
See, that's my whole point.
Because that's where his dad coaches. So you figure he had a little bit of an advantage coming in.
Yeah.
But I was thoroughly disappointed in Garrett Nussmeier.
Okay.
Yeah. Mike Love coming in with we once drafted a quarterback from Arkansas who I had hopes for, Tyler Wilson in
Tyler
2013.
Wilson. I remember Tyler Wilson.
Mhm.
Yeah. So now getting on to the draft, is Mendoza the surefire 100% number one pick for us?
I think we're gonna trade back and get Jalen Miro from the Seahawks. Now I'm just playing. Yeah.
I was thinking we were going to trade for Malik Willis. Even though he's a free agent, we're going to let him sign with the team and then trade for him, get an extra second round pick, and then maybe trade our fourth and fifth round pick to the team to get Malik Willis. So we'll give up our first and a fourth and a fifth to get Malik Willis.
You're about to have me go off like I did against the guest Jeff had on Thursday.
Yeah, because really, in all honesty, let's face it, he's a consensus number one.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys watched the Chase Daniels podcast that he does he does the all 22 evaluation? His Iowa tape from the end zone, because I can only watch the games from a broadcast. I'm not paying for no damn all 22, right? But I can still see a lot in the broadcast when I watch it, and I can understand a lot of it. But when he brings it up and he starts to show the all 22 and some of the throws that he made, it's like, yep, that's evidence right there that he needs to be the number one pick.
Yeah. My only, not say bad, but I ain't gonna say the only thing I think he needs to work on is a few things he needs to work on, but my biggest thing that he needs to work on is his post throws. He needs to start leading the receiver instead of underthrowing. He tends to underthrow it a little bit once it hits that 25, 30, 35 yard mark.
No.
He tends to underthrow it a little bit.
But his fade routes and are which is funny because it's outside the numbers that he's throwing on the fade routes, inside the numbers towards the hash on the post routes and corner routes. Yeah. So it's like, oh, come on, man.
It's like he tries to guide it a little too much when it's the post, like on his back shoulder. He's perfect on the back shoulder, and it's like he tries to do the exact same thing with the post and the the seam routes, and you can't do that. You have to throw and let your guy go get it. That's my only thing. But yeah, he's for sure the number one pick.
I will say his footwork when he's throwing, when he pushes off with his back foot, it ends up floating away from him. So he's not getting everything through his body motion and throwing the ball.
That's not his foot. That's not his foot. That's his C. If you watch, his C is like this. If he just turns it, if he turns his hand like that with the ball a little bit more like this, the nose of that ball arbitrarily come down already and be in a direct line with his A ball and B ball.
I didn't know his hand could make his foot go sideways.
I'm
talking about his footwork, Jason.
Well, I thought you were correlating that with his ball sailing going high.
No, I was saying his footwork.
Okay, my mistake. I misunderstood.
But both can correlate into that. By having a proper base and pushing off with your foot properly and your throws and dragging your toe at the end of the throw, like that allows for your body motion to twist properly so you can get more into the ball. And then you, with your hand motion, you want to try to make sure that nose stays down so that way you can get more out of it and the travel distance. But anyways, like I said earlier, the draft is more than just Mendoza. Like, we need to fill in those gaps on the rest of our team. So now after the Senior Bowl and what's looking like Kubiak being our coach, what are some intriguing names and maybe like the second and third round we should be looking at?
I'll say, I'll give you a name, two names at wide receiver. One is Jeremy Bernard, the wide receiver out of Alabama, and then another guy is not being talked about enough, in my opinion. Antonio Williams out of Clemson.
Mhm.
Antonio Williams he has been the best player on that team, on that offense, every year since he was a freshman. You go back to his freshman tape, and he was the most explosive player on that offense. His sophomore season, his last season, he was the only thing that they had, the most consistent one anyway. So I'm a real big Jeremy Bernard fan and Antonio Williams fan. So
Do you have
both of them
anybody?
fit that JSN mold too. So
Who was that last one?
I said both of them fit the JSN
Oh.
Chris Olave mold.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would definitely be interesting in Kubiak's system because we know how he likes to move JSN around to make sure he gets the looks that he wants and make sure they can't key on him. Jason, you have anybody that you're looking at for the second, third rounds?
Second round, I want to target the interior line, and I wasn't happy with Jake Slaughter this week. He did okay, but I think maybe it's a consideration. One of those Iowa offensive linemen we can get in the second round, whether it's Logan Jones or Jennings, Dunker. One of those guys, they should be there in the second round. That should be able to, and I'm saying that's if we don't feel the need in free agency, right?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, I myself, if we don't address that the problems going into free agency, which is our offensive line, I'm hesitant on drafting Mendoza as well. I start to pause for a minute and go, if you do draft Mendoza and you didn't do that, then that kid's got to sit. You're going to have to sit your first pick, the number one pick in the draft. He's got to sit. There's no way you can put him behind that offensive line. No way.
Getting to Logan Jones, since you brought up his name, I think his age alone is going to push him into the third round at the highest. He might even be a fourth round pick just because of his age.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you can get him on day 3.
Yeah.
You think so? You don't think it'll be a late day 2?
The problem is he's already 25, and I think he'll be 26 either when the season starts or somewhere in the middle of it.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
That
His medical would help out with that as well. So if he doesn't have any medical issues in 25, because you're talking offensive linemen can play well into their late 30s, depending on how their medicals are. Does he have degenerative knees, degenerative ankle, constant ankle injuries, constant knee injuries? What's his shoulders like, his elbows, things like that? If those are issues at this stage, then yeah, I would probably be a little bit more hesitant early on. I'd probably let him slip back to the 20th pick, somewhere in that range. But yeah. That's a tough one for me. I like the kid.
Yeah, I like him too. I
like him too. Yeah.
Realistically, he will probably be there later just because of his age alone. I mean, he plays great. And then there's also the argument that he's surrounded by great talent on both guard positions because himself and then the other two guards, they were all American.
Bo Stevens and Jennings Dunker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think Dunker was their left tackle, but it's looking like he might translate to a guard position in the NFL.
Yeah. He's built to be a guard, more of a guard.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a mauler. I mean, I would love to have somebody like him on our
strong
team.
base.
And his base. I was just going to say, he's constantly keeping the play inside his shoulders. He's not leaning and reaching.
And then Mike, keeping up with what we're talking about, he said, which receiver would y'all like most for the Raiders, Surratt or Cooper? Surratt's most likely going to be a second-round pick, and Cooper's looking like third, maybe fourth round. I could see him being fourth round just because his he doesn't get all the looks because Surratt demands so much. Mm-hmm. But Cooper, to me, is a sneaky better receiver, especially at the NFL level.
I would go Cooper too.
I think Cooper has a better catch radius. He did a better job of fishing out bad balls than what Surratt did.
Yeah, Well, I mean, that ridiculous catch that Cooper had during the Penn State game.
Penn State.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's better. He's better after the catch too.
I hate to
Yeah.
tell you guys this, but I think that was intentionally thrown that way.
Well, I mean, I do too, because if he throws it lower, there's a chance it gets tipped and picked.
Because if you go back and watch the Wisconsin tape, there's another throw similar to that to the right side, and which it's kind of like what they call a crossbar. Throw it to the crossbar. I'll go get it. Randy Moss did shit like that. But if you watch, there's a touchdown that they throw in a Wisconsin game, and you can actually see Cooper go like this, throw his hand up, point upward, throw it up.
Yeah, because you're taught. If it's at the goal line, if it's at the goal line, throw it low. If it's at the back pylon, throw it high.
Yep.
Like the back of the end zone, you throw it high. Goal
Yep.
line, you throw it low.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Mike also coming in with it would be nice to get Tyler Linderbaum from Baltimore. I think
It's going to be
there's
a tough one.
chance. So my thing is, I don't think Baltimore is going to keep him. Like, I don't think they can afford him, even if they finagle their contracts around.
Mhm.
I think he demands too much of their payroll. So I think more than likely he's in a different uniform next season. But he could very well go to the Giants following Harbaugh. I mean, that seems to be like the hot topic for him right now. I don't think that's necessarily true either, because the Giants actually have a young, decent center right now. So he's definitely going to be a hot commodity, because he's also looking like he might be the best overall lineman in free agency. So that being said, we are definitely going to have to pay him a bunch. And the question is he worth that pay?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree too.
22.5 million, I'd pay him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm willing to pay him that much. Now, here's my thing on paying him that much is Kubiak, our head coach, obviously going to be the play caller. His system, he does zone running scheme, especially the outside zone run scheme. Linderbaum can run that very well, actually better than a power run scheme, because Linderbaum is a little bit undersized.
Mhm.
That being said, Linderbaum is athletic and really uses his leverage really well, and that is key in a zone run scheme. So it may be we seriously target Linderbaum and keep JPJ at guard, and then hopefully Rodgers can perform and take over that other guard spot. So we might have our interior, which is that one signing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was pretty much ending. I was starting to ramble.
I was gonna say a guy that we're not thinking about. The Green Bay Packers center, Sean Ryan. He plays center and guard.
Okay.
And what's his name? Matt LaFleur, whatever his name is. He comes from that Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay scheme too. So it's similar schemes. So I think that's a sleeper name.
Yeah. Definitely. That's actually a great name to bring up. So
Didn't
maybe
he get hurt this year towards the end of the season?
Think so.
Yeah, because I remember their backup coming in, and the backup played halfway decent. I was like, well, shit, maybe we should get their backup, because their backup's better than our starters. It's Sean Ryan. Okay, let's see.
Well, I'm sure Darkseid brought up the Packers center because he's coming off a contract, right? So he's
Right,
going to be a free agent.
Yeah, he's a free agent. He played all 17 games.
Yeah, so more than likely we can't go after the Packers backup because he'll probably be under contract still. So there is a good chance that the Packers let their starting center walk because of that, because he did play halfway decent, like Jason was saying. So maybe we don't put all of our eggs in the Linderbaum basket. Maybe we'll look at that guy because he is in a system that's going to be very similar to what Kubiak runs.
Yeah.
Now,
So
us talking about bringing in centers now, do us as Raider Nation need to keep an open mind and let JPJ play guard? Because I know a lot of fans really love JPJ at center. think that's his best position, and we shouldn't look at center at all.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I want him at center. he won the best center award in college for a reason.
Yeah.
But now that he's been shuffled around in the NFL by two bad offensive line coaches, now I really don't know what to think about the kid. Like, should he be a guard or should he be a center? But if you bring in a Tyler Linderbaum, then that eliminates one side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fixes that. Because to me, it's an either or. I actually think he's a better guard than center. But he is really good at center. But if we get a natural center, just like a Linderbaum or through the draft, that can come in and immediately plug and play, then that gives us more options with JPJ. You know what I mean? So moving him to guard.
Yeah.
Keeping him at guard, and I'd put him at left guard next to Colton Miller. Move him back over to the left side.
If he's going to play guard, I'd prefer him on the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
He looked way better at left guard last year than he did at right guard this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He at times he looked lost at right guard. He was missing blocks left and right sometimes. I don't remember the exact game. I think it was the Chargers game, the first Chargers game, where he missed two big blocks that ended up being sacks, and he wasn't credited for one of them. Glaze was actually credited for one of them, even though the D lineman on both times crossed. Now,
let me ask you this right quick before you right quick. I know a lot of people want what's his name, Braden Smith out of Indianapolis. A guy that we could potentially go after is Trevor Penning. He was with Clint Kubiak with the Saints. So that could be our right tackle next year. Just throwing that name out there.
No, that's another great name to keep in mind. I was going to say, though, as far as JPJ goes for me, he is, until proven otherwise, injury prone.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to throw all my eggs in JPJ being the long-term starter until he can get that figured out. Because he's, since high school, had a long list of concussion problems.
Yeah.
And it's going to come a time where if he keeps getting them, he's not going to be able to play anymore.
Right.
So I think
so. It'll probably be smart to get both Tyler Linderbaum and Sean Ryan in, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah,
because Sean Ryan can play guard too.
Or get Linderbaum or Ryan and draft for a center or a guard.
You still got to draft them.
Yeah. And then as far as right tackle goes, Glaze, he's got concrete feet.
Yeah,
he needs to move to the inside where he's not going to have as many issues blocking speed rushers because they're going to get lost on the wash. Glaze is a powerhouse. He's a mule. He damn well can outpower everybody. And putting him on the inside is really going to make him a road grader and really open up those running lanes. And I do think he is still good enough in the footwork for a running zone scheme. It's just on pass blocking, he gets beat by speed rushers too easily. Jason, you have any thoughts for the offensive line?
Not really. We pretty much covered them. The Linderbaum thing, like I said earlier, that should be to me. I think that should be a priority if the option's there, so to speak. We won't know until we hit the free agency, and then the legal tampering should let us know exactly where we stand with that. I have an idea, but of what the pay scale would be, but the pay scale is going to be a little bit higher now with it's going to be $307 million salary cap. So there are going to be some other teams that might have a little bit of extra cash to play with to go get a solid free agent and add them to their team. So I think 22.5 is a reasonable number, but if you have to outbid, go 25. Because I just really truly think that him in and of itself is going to improve our defense, improve our offensive line 40 to 50% compared to what it was last year, and that's absent who our coach is going to be. That's just in the from a talent perspective.
Yeah. Now, as far as our current free agents on our team that are possibly leaving the team, I know there's one name that keeps popping up as we must re-sign this guy, and he's a current cornerback. I know Darkside knows what I'm talking about because in the Discord we actually had the whole shindig go down because of this guy. That being said, his name keeps slipping, and that's why I'm making this linger so long.
Eric Stokes.
Yeah, Eric Stokes.
Just say it.
Eric Stokes is an okay cornerback who overperformed statistically last season.
Yes.
Personally, I do think we need to re-sign him, but we need to bring in other help at the cornerback position. And in the short term, I would like Stokes to be the number 3 corner, outside corner. He can't play inside. He can't play that slot because he's just not fluid enough in his hips. But that being said, I do think we need to re-sign him, but I also think Raider fans need to take the chill pill when it comes to Eric Stokes because he's not a number 1 cornerback.
No.
Darkside, did you want to add anything to Eric Stokes?
Yeah, I'm so I like Eric Stokes as an athlete, right? He's fast, he can jump high, all that good stuff, right? But like you said, when it comes to his type of play style, he fits better in the cover 3 scheme, right? Don't let nobody run past you, and you can't do that. And they're not going to do that because you run a 4-2, right? So you're constantly in a bail technique. You feel me? Mm-hmm. But if you put him in a cover 4 scheme, if you put him in a Jim Short scheme where you have to be man up, pressed on somebody, he's going to fail. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't, like you said, he doesn't have the hip fluidity, or as a guy that I respect says, he's not a mountain goat with his ankles. You know, have you ever seen a mountain goat? They can flex their ankles. He can't do that. If he try to do it, he'll fall. Well, he slips all the time. If you actually watch the film, he's constantly on the ground, or he's constantly getting beat on a dig or a curl or a comeback route because he only trying to play to not get beat over the top. And I don't like that. And he's not a good tackler. In 2026 NFL, you have to be a good tackler.
Yeah. And then also to add to it is, for such a big guy, he does not press very well either. It's being a bigger DB and not being able to press is just crazy in my mind because it's like you really got to be physical up on that line of scrimmage, and he just doesn't show it. But again, that being said, I do think we need to re-sign him because he is good enough to be a starter in the NFL, and we can't just let a talent like him walk away without having somebody better to step up and take over for him. I mean, we can bring in a bunch of different free agents to possibly take over for him, but until they play better than him, like, it doesn't mean anything. It's like us letting go of Carr and bringing in Garoppolo and Garoppolo not doing anything. Like, we need to have that next plan already in the building before we let Stokes go. Did you have anything to add on that, Jason?
Nope.
Okay, Mike coming in with remember what Reggie McKenzie did, got Rodney Hudson and Kalichi Osemele in free agency. What a great offensive line we had. Yeah, I mean, we had car insurance. They were awesome. I mean, it's...
And then on top of that, we drafted Gabe Jackson. So immediately 3 people plugged in that offensive line made it that much better.
Yeah. And then we also brought in Donald Penn, left tackle.
Austin Howard.
Yeah, Austin Howard at right tackle. Like Reggie McKenzie should have never been let go. He honestly should be the GM still, but
Yeah.
yeah. Now, Ob, I know you had a promise with your wife to prearrangement, so I know we can't take up a lot more of your time. Are there any like final thoughts or anything that you want to talk about?
I will say that I am excited about the Clint Kubiak hire. He is very scheme versatile, right? So he doesn't. I did a little bit of research. He runs a lot of 11 personnel. He runs a lot of 21 personnel, 22 personnel. When I looked at the Saints tape, that's who I thought. Yeah, when I looked at the Saints tape, I think that's what we will see more of, like those first 3 games. When he was utilizing the way he was utilizing Taysom Hill, I like that. Right, I don't think AJ Barner and the other guy that they got in Seattle are athletic enough to do that. So I feel like we will have more of that 2024 September-ish type of feel instead of the 2025 Seahawks, right? Which is not a bad thing. Both were really good. 2025, he was the best offensive play caller in the league, in my opinion. But just saying, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see who he hires as his coordinators and position staff. Then get to the free agency, and then get to the combine and all that stuff. This is my favorite part of the year.
I mean, for us Raider fans, the offseason has been the best part of the year.
It seems like it's the only thing we got to look forward to anymore.
Well,
you start looking forward to the offseason in September.
Hopefully that slowly changes. I'm not expecting too much from this next season, but hopefully year 2, we got some nice leaps and bounds where we're looking like a legitimate team and heading in the right direction.
Listen, I told my wife she got until April 23rd to get on the bandwagon. After that, don't come talk to me about getting on the bandwagon. The door is closing. The door is closing.
Now, once again, before you head on out of here, Dark Side, we're going to shout out your YouTube channel. We got Dark Side OB. Everyone go check him out. Subscribe to him. Check out his videos. They're very good. Very, very thought-invoked. And he does check out those comments. It helps give him ideas for his next videos, guys. So definitely reach out to him.
Yeah. Let me see if
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks
for
coming in with Dark Side. We appreciate it.
All right, Jason. Before we continue on, I did want to basically give an apology to Jeff and the guest he brought on, because they got absolutely brutalized Thursday night. As pretty much as soon as his opinion was even leaked, the whole chat, myself included, were just lighting him up. Did not give him a chance. And after the fact, it did not feel good at all. And I just wanted to throw it out there online so that way Jeff could see it if he wanted to, that I'm sorry to him and his guest that he brought on, because us Raider fans, we got enough shit going against us. We don't need to be attacking each other, and we need to stick together as a unit. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to debate. It's okay to talk about stuff and have differing opinions, but we cannot be attacking each other. We are one family, one nation, Raider Nation. And that being said, again, I'm sorry for what I contributed. At the moment, I did not think it was that bad, but after the fact, again, did not feel good. And that's all I wanted to say on that. I don't know if you wanted to put anything in there, Jason. I'm not trying to force you. I just talking about what I put out there.
I've already had somewhat of a conversation with him. I know he's still probably a little pissed off at me, and I could totally understand. But from a standpoint, as much time as I've invested in this whole analyzing the quarterback in and of himself, I really truly think that sometimes when you bring a take, have something to support it, but sometimes support it with more than just what you. Because I just caught on to, and then it became a personal. Then it became personal back and forth, and then when you make it personal, I'm going to get personal back with you because I'm not afraid to tell you how I feel. Okay, so that in and of itself, and I apologize. We should. Duncan is absolutely right. As Raider Nation, we should not be attacking each other personally. Whenever you come out and you tell another Raider fan who has an opinion, and the first words out of your mouth are "you're stupid," we've already failed as fellow fans. Okay, I mean, really, in all honesty, you're not being any better than a 49er fan or a Patriot fan at that point. It's like now it's kind of you gotta what I'm and I gotta work on this a little bit myself. Is okay. Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why he is not our quarterback. Okay. Well, I can differ that opinion based on what I saw with this, and this. And a perfect example is, and I always go back to it, is that last drive against Penn State. The last drive against Penn State is pretty much everything you didn't even know in a nutshell of what this kid is capable of because he continued to do it against Ohio State, against Alabama, against Oregon, and even against Miami. Now, a lot of people are looking for a certain characteristic in a quarterback. I myself, there's more to it than what you see in between the lines that I'm looking for. And when I wholeheartedly say this kid is very intelligent, is because I can support that with the fact number one, he had a full ride offer to Yale. His SAT scores, finished 3.5 years at the Haas School of Law at Cal Berkeley, which is not an easy school. Okay, so that in and of itself and his bloodline, his dad being who his dad is as a physician, so it in and of itself, there's between the ears with this kid, it's all there. With the athleticism, it's there. It's just a matter of now the coaching, and the coaching that he's going to get in the pros versus what he got in college is going to be much greater because you got to understand in college they don't get to spend as much time with those players as they do in the NFL. You're going from 20 hours maximum participation in team activities to now you're doing 50, 60 hours of preparation for a game. So it's a huge there, and that's probably why a lot of colleges run more RPO than they do a traditional pro style or West Coast style, is because those West Coast concepts it takes tons of repetition, tons of development in a understanding the whole just the catalog that it comes with in the West Coast. Now he did run some West Coast concepts at Indiana. You can go back to the Wisconsin game. A lot of their red zone was West Spider 2 wide banana. They ran that play. He scored a touchdown. The only difference that you're going to see in that is he didn't reverse pivot. He straight pivot. And then the running back got lit up in the backfield, but he still offset and get that and throw that banana route in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. So those are just some of the things to look at when you're evaluating the quarterbacks. Trinidad Chambliss, same thing. I watched a lot of Trinidad Chambliss after he took over when Austin Simmons went down. I saw a lot of progress. One of the things that I saw is number one, when they first played Georgia during the season and they lost, he in the second half was horrible. When they came back around in the college football playoffs, 13 for 13, 161 yards and 3 touchdowns in the second half. Are you kidding me? The kid just kept getting better and better and better.
And we're gonna probably continue beating the whole is Mendoza worth it? Just constantly throughout the draft and maybe even after the draft.
Yeah.
We're gonna be black and blue with how much we frickin' talk about Mendoza and other channels too. I mean,
Mhm.
quite frankly, that's the hottest topic. We have the number one pick. Who are we taking? We need a quarterback. Well, quarterback's also considered the most important position, and Mendoza's the best at it. So it's definitely going to keep getting brought up continuously. So
So
that being
the other, so just to kind of clarify, because I know some, I don't know if anybody, we only have 4 people in the chat right now, but we can memorialize this on YouTube as we speak. There was the adage of let's compare Fernando Mendoza to Shedeur Sanders. Okay, so if you want to do that, there's this thing in statistics that whenever you use a statistic, don't use portions of it just to control a narrative. Right? So we're going to look at Shedeur Sanders. First, I'm going to go over just the teams that he played against as the quarterback at Colorado. North Dakota State, Nebraska, Colorado State, Baylor, University of Central Florida, Kansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State, and then BYU and the Alamo Bowl. And I don't know if anybody watched the Alamo Bowl. I did. That was a flat murder. The score really didn't indicate exactly how big of a bloodbath that was. Now we're going to go over to Fernando Mendoza. We'll just talk about the teams that he played. And I'll give you this. Old Dominion, which is actually a really good FCS school. They're right up there with the James Madisons of the FCS. So they're not – it's the same with North Dakota State. Okay. Not a bad team. Kennesaw State, probably shouldn't have played that team, but they did. Indiana State, probably shouldn't have played them, but they did. It was on the schedule. Number 9 at the time was the number 9 team in the country of Illinois, in which they won 63-10. Versus Iowa, Oregon, Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, which has usually got good teams. They got good players, right? At Penn State, Wisconsin, and then Purdue, obviously Purdue at the end. And then we know about the gauntlet that they ran through the playoffs with Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, and they played.
So Ohio State was the conference championship game.
So that was a conference championship game, which they won, and which he played. Statistically, he didn't play very well. I mean, I'm not going to knock on that. But here's the thing. We go in and we say, okay, well, Shedeur Sanders threw for over 4,000 yards and blah, 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 touchdowns, blah, blah, interceptions. He had more yards, he had more touchdowns, and his touchdowns and interceptions were comparable. I get that. But what was left out of that comparison was the actual stats that matter. So I'm looking here at the statistics, and like I said, a lot of times I don't pay attention to this statistics until it becomes part of the narrative. What I'm seeing with Fernando Mendoza is he had 3 games in which he threw 30 or 31 pass attempts. So everything else is less than 30 pass attempts. Shedeur Sanders had 34 pass attempts, 38 pass attempts, 49 pass attempts. Okay, 49 pass attempts, and he only had 310 yards. Okay, 41 pass attempts, 35 pass attempts, 40 pass attempts, 33 pass attempts, 30, 43, 41, 29, 41, 23. And then going down the same line for Fernando was he had 31, 25 pass attempts, 20 pass attempts, which he was in the Indiana State game. He was 19 of 20 for 270 yards and 5 touchdowns and had 1 rushing touchdown. So take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, the competition, okay, 73-0. He was pulled at halftime. So those are basically halftime stats. They probably shouldn't have been playing Indiana State, but they did. They were on the schedule, right? Versus Illinois, the number 9 team in the nation, who has 2 or 3 NFL prospects on their defense.
Yep.
They beat them 63-10. He was 21 of 23 for 267 yards and 5 touchdowns in that game.
And got
23 pass attempts. Okay.
He didn't play the fourth quarter.
Right. Well, it was 63-10.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget Mendoza was still playing in the fourth quarter.
The majority
just
of
what-
their, yeah.
It wasn't Fernando.
No,
So
the
when they-
majority of the games in the regular season, Fernando didn't play the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So let's go to Iowa. Iowa, 13 of 23. So he's barely over 55%, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That was a very tough game. He had a lull in the second quarter where he wasn't clicking, but it started to come to. And if you go watch the game film, you will see some plays that you just go, wow. And they didn't fit the narrative that's been spread around as to, oh, it was the receivers or it was RPO or whatever you want to, how analogy you want to use to make the comparison. Those were true big time NFL throws that he made, dropping them over a defender in front of a defender. And so just take it for what it's worth. And there's an end zone. Chase Daniels has an end zone view. He uses all 22, and he shows you everything that Mendoza was doing at that time. And he was using a lot of his eyes, his shoulders, positioning his feet to offset, to try and influence the secondary and where he was going. All right, so we're at Iowa, right? 13 of 23. Oregon, 20 of 31, 215 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That was in Eugene, Oregon, and he played really good. Throw a pick 6. I get it. Kind of put through a lazy ball, and the corner was able to undercut it and take it to the house. I got it on an out route. Michigan State, 24 of 28, 332 yards, no touchdowns. UCLA Bruins, 15 of 22, 168 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But he also added a rushing touchdown, and they won 56-6. He didn't play the whole game. 14 of 20 against Maryland, 14 of 21. Penn State. Penn State was the first 3 quarters, he was really doing bad. But you go to that fourth quarter with 2 minutes, they gave him the ball back with 2 minutes left, no timeouts, and 80 yards, and he cooked. There was no run plays. He was 7 of 9 for 80 yards and a touchdown. And the touchdown, some people, well, the receiver made a good catch. Well, you know what? That quarterback made a good throw. And then if you want to say, well, he wasn't under pressure. Okay, well, I got a still photo that I can share with you that tells you otherwise. He got lit up when he was throwing that ball by 2 defenders. All right. I love that. The Penn State game is when I went, the hair on the back of my neck started standing up going, oh, we can get this guy.
Well,
Wisconsin, he was 22 of 24 for 299 yards and 4 touchdowns. 22 of 24, 299 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then Purdue, who was 8 of 15, only threw 15 times, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. They still won 56-3. So, yes. And Duncan, if you want to take over from here as to the comparison, because he said he, quote unquote, had the better team, I'll let you run with that.
I mean, Indiana did have the better team than Colorado. But that being said, is like,
did they have the Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver?
No, because the quarterback won the Heisman. That being said, though, as a Raiders fan, I am tired of not scoring touchdowns, especially when we get into the red zone. And do you happen to know his red zone statistics for just this last season? I know people want to add at Cal because it makes it even more impressive because he did it 2 seasons in a row of being perfect. But just this last season, Fernando threw for 27 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and that was most in all of FBS.
You think that's why you're out on the Heisman?
Yeah. And quite frankly, like, that stat alone as a Raider fan gets me completely enthralled with how good Mendoza could be for us. Because bottom line, you win games by scoring, and you get the most points by getting touchdowns. And Mendoza was the best at doing it in the college. But to add to that, he also did run the ball in for a few times. So he ended up with 39 total touchdowns in the red zone and 0 turnovers.
Mhm.
So the guy knows how to score. And then the other statistic that drives me crazy is the RPO. They don't even use the statistic on it. They just say, oh, he's in an RPO system. Indiana
Okay.
only ran RPO 32% of the time. Okay, yeah, they have RPO involved in their system, but they're not an RPO exclusive system. So I don't know why they keep trying to throw that out there when the stat itself disproves them. But anyways, like I said, we're going to have plenty of time to keep beating over the Mendoza discussion. And I'm sure a lot of us will get tired of it. So let's get back to more current news with the Raiders and Kubiak. And if all things align, Kubiak's our head coach. What are the next 3 months looking like for us, Jason?
Well, building out the staff.
Yep.
And I have full faith. One of the reasons why I like Kubiak and I also like Chris Shula, the Rams defensive coordinator, is because they both have a Rolodex, what they call a Rolodex, or they have contacts that they can build out a staff that is going to be top notch. And that's the most important thing a head coach can do is build out a staff. That's what, really in all honesty, I think that's what hindered AP was he couldn't build out his staff.
Yeah.
And he brought in the Marvin Lewises and the Joel Philbins and whoever else, Tom Coughlin or whoever that used to be head coaches to come in and be quote unquote advisors. And I think there was too many advisors, not enough people with assigned responsibility, not enough people with accountability with that responsibility. And it just trickled down and it was a runaway train from there. Last year was the nepotism file. You know it, and I know it. So let's move on from those. I trust Kubiak, and from what I gather, is if Kubiak brings in one of his guys to help coach, and that guy does not perform, he will not be here. He will fire you.
Yeah. Mike Love said, who's your comp for Fernando Mendoza? He's saying Jared Goff with mobility. I mean,
Yep.
it's kind of a
I'd
fair
take it.
comparison.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold's also a fair comparison because Sam Darnold in college was actually mobile himself.
Yeah, he had a lot of rollout throws, design rollouts that were impressive in college.
Yeah.
I am not a Sam Darnold fan, but man, I am cheering him on because of what he's done. To fall that hard on the mat and get your ass back up and come back like he has, kudos to him, man. And not only that, he's done it at two franchises, from Minnesota to Seattle. So, I mean, if anything,
Yeah.
good job, brother.
I mean,
Good job.
I'll admit it. I was sorely mistaken on Sam Darnold. I let those last 2 games from the Vikings outweigh all the other games he played and let that mold my opinion of him. And I was wrong.
Yeah.
He played damn well this year. Personally, I think he played more impressively this year with Seattle than he did with the Vikings.
Yeah.
Because there were a bunch of times in Seattle where they needed him and he was able to get the win for them.
I think he also felt more comfortable with Smith and Jigba than he did with Jefferson. It seemed to me like he felt more comfortable with him than he did with the receivers he had, and because it was in Washington, in Minnesota, it seemed like it was like opportunistic. They were making the plays, whereas in Seattle they were creating the plays. Him and Smith and Jigba were creating those plays.
I think that more has to do on the coaching side of it with Kubiak because Kubiak's system was moving JSN around a bunch to make sure he got those plays where they created those plays.
And a balanced run game.
They don't do that as much in Minnesota where like Jefferson, usually when he lines up, he's just there. He don't go in motion a lot to try to move around the defense and try to get him open. Rosetown's saying that his comparison's Kirk Cousins. Honestly, I don't know a lot about Kirk Cousins in college, so I don't know if that's a fair assessment or not on comparison. But
See, myself with Kirk Cousins, I think from the beginning of his career throughout, he did just enough to keep himself relevant. He doesn't have much of a playoff resume. If
well,
any.
he also
So,
kept going to teams that they're not really playoff contenders in a sense.
but he was chasing. I think he was chasing more of a paycheck than he was. He was doing just enough to keep himself relevant to where, because let's face it, he has probably done the best when it comes to negotiating contracts than anybody in the history of the NFL. That guy he's fell in a bucket of crap, come out smelling like a rose every time his contract comes up.
Yeah. So as we're wrapping things up here, some important dates for Raider Nation is February 9th, the day after the Super Bowl. Hopefully that's the day we hear Kubiak is officially our head coach. Now, it may be a day or two after that, just depending on how quickly he gets to Vegas. Hopefully it is the 9th, and hopefully it's not being pushed back, because if it ends up being the 10th or 11th or even the 12th, Raider Nation's going to start hitting that panic button. Where is he? Where is he?
Robert.
Have a good night, Pena. But yeah, no, February 9th or that week of February 9th, that's definitely the hot topic, is the Kubiak signing. That's when it's officially official. And then the draft is the April 23rd, I believe. So 23rd, 24th, 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then do you happen to know when the first off-season meeting for the players is?
The league year starts March 11th.
Okay. And then, because once again we have a new head coach, or gonna have a new head coach, we have the early training sessions, right?
We get I think an extra 3 days of organized team activities, I believe. And then we're also exempt from having to do this stupid Hard Knocks thing too. I guess that's the only benefit of us not us firing coaches every year. We don't ever have to do that shit again.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun with John Gruden.
Oh yeah, it was great watching Antonio Brown pull all his stuff.
Yeah. Money Chuck, okay, I'll take shit for this, but Mendoza reminds me of a bigger version of Joe Montana. Accurate, great placement, reads defense as well, gets rid of the ball quickly. I mean, that's why I mentioned Tom Brady too, is because he's more cerebral. Like, he's got the mental side of the game, and he's accurate and will take exactly what the defense gives him. Mm-hmm. That being said, he's got a long way to go before he's a Tom Brady in the NFL. So,
yeah, that's one of the things I really have a hard time with player comps. I mean, I would put him more in that Jared Goff, because he is athletic, and he looks but he looks a little clunky when he runs. But when you actually watch him run, it's like, ooh, he just outran. He literally outran Alabama to the sideline for a 15-yard gain. It's like,
yeah, that
was impressive.
Yeah. Have a good night, Mike. And then those of you
Thanks
still here,
I
suggest going and checking out 401 Raider Jeff. He's got a show coming up here in the next 15 minutes or so. Very good content creator, and he's a guy with a lot of passion for the Raiders. So it's definitely fun to watch him because he's got a big heart. Do you have any final thoughts before we hit this end button, Jason?
Not really.
Pretty much hit everything. Hit the new topic.
If you're game, let's maybe stay flexible Monday or Tuesday, and just wait it out and see. I don't think we'll have a press conference on Monday. I think they're going to wait till Tuesday and maybe even till Thursday of next week to do any press conference.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of stuff that a lot of stuff in it contractually that they need to finalize, and they can't do any of that right now. So it's like we gotta wait.
Yeah. I might be mistaken or misremembering, but usually the press conferences happen after like the family moves in and stuff. So once they're kind of settled in the area. I know that wasn't necessarily a thing with Pete Carroll because his family's in California. So
Well, the way
That
they
wa-
do it, the way the Raiders do it is they've already got people searching out residency for the family,
yeah.
and then that'll all be. They'll have a pick of several. They'll have some type of guidance advisor from the organization that's in tune with the real estate market, which is in tune with the schools, and so on and so forth, to provide that family with a smooth transition to Vegas when it does happen. So that's I don't know if that's really of great concern. I know with McDaniels, it was fairly quick from the time we announced it. He was going to be our coach to. I think it was just like 24 hours. We were having a press conference.
Yeah.
So
Well, one thing's for sure though is everyone hit the alert buttons for the Raiders YouTube channel because they will live stream that. So pretty much February 9th, anything from February 9th on, the first live stream that they have posted, that's going to be the coach's press conference.
no,
So I definitely suggest hitting those alert buttons so that way you're alerted when that pops up so you know when that happens. And then have a good night, Raider Nation, and I think that'll do it for us.
that's it for me.
Cold open, counted out. Yeah, we heard the talk. Cold nights and long losses. Still we walk. Scoreboard hurt, but the heart stayed real. Still wear the black, still flash the shield. From Oakland roots to Vegas dust, pain in the season, but we still trust. They say it's over, I say move